So today I want to talk about confidence. You know the rule. If you're new to my page, you're new to my tribe, hello. My name is Rachel Davis. I am the founder of LaLa Tigers. I am a personal transformation coach. I'm a musician, a TEDx speaker, and I am fascinated with teaching personal growth, mental and emotional well-being to children and parents with music and fun. So today, why do I want to talk about confidence? Well, today's live was inspired by a couple of things, actually. A couple of things have come up into my stratosphere this week, and it's really made me dig deeper and deeper and deeper into confidence, what it is, the vulnerabilities behind it, right? Because I know for sure. So let's talk about what happened this morning. So this morning, right, I got dressed this morning and I'm like, by the way, it's raining this morning. This is why I'm not quiffed up today. I do not quiff up in the rain because it's fairly pointless. We're rocking a fringe today. But I actually had a moment where I was like, I actually did not put my feather earrings on this morning because I thought it would be too much. How many of you, and I would love to know, because I know if you know the drill by now, if you're watching this live, then come say hi, because I don't like talking to myself. And if you're watching this back on replay, please give me a hashtag replay and get involved in the play. And if you're not registered with StreamYard, then I won't be able to see your name. Oh, it's Ruth. Good morning, babes. How are you? So, yeah, I didn't put my feather earrings on morning because I thought it would be too much. And I really want to delve with just that thought that came up in my head before I left the house this morning. And that was, don't put your feather earrings on. They'll think you're a dick. They'll think you love yourself. They will think that you are like, who does she think she is? Now, in Brighton, this probably would not have bothered me, but where I'm living at the moment, it's quite like a middle England kind of place, and it's very sweet and it's very lovely. But there is not a lot of people that I would say are expressing themselves, okay? And the reason I want to tell this story, because it really links really nicely into something that I saw in another Facebook group. So I'm part of lots of Facebook parenting groups. And I don't know if you might have seen this video. It's had lots and lots of views. It's been doing the rounds. And it was a video of a father with a girl who they'd been in a supermarket, and she had kicked off in the supermarket, and he had taken the girl out of the supermarket and was filming both of them and basically going, we're not doing that. And well, I'm really happy to sit out here and, you know, while you're having those feelings, like while you're kicking off, because everybody's looking at you and thinking you are an idiot. Okay. And there was a lot of shaming going on and filming this girl while she was crying and all of the things. And it really not upset me, but I was like, and therein lies the problem. Great parenting, removing your children. Great parenting, saying this behavior is not acceptable. But what would have made it the ultimate parenting situation would have been to acknowledge the frustration, acknowledge that it's really hard to not have what you want. And this father shaming his child for feelings like, and therein lies the problem. Therein lies the little voice that comes into play every time you leave the house, every time you think you might want to show up live. I have to deal with the gremlins. We all have the gremlins. Every single time I show up live, is anyone going to show up? Is anybody care? Do you know, are people going to look at my fringe and think, what is she doing? Do you know, this is a constant play in your heads. And all it is your ego desperately trying to keep you safe, definitely trying to keep you small. But I'm telling you now, that the biggest crime and the way that we show up with our children, the biggest crime is not living to your fullest expression, because you are the model and not the mirror. And you are showing your child that it is okay to inhibit your feelings, that it is okay to make yourself less of yourself. This is really, really big for girls. And this is really big for mums, because I know I don't know how many of you have grown up with this, and I would love to know, but I know about you, but I was brought up to be a good girl. You know, I'm sure you've all seen that incredible video about the women are coming, about stay small, don't be too loud, don't be too this, don't be too colorful, don't be too successful. You'll make your man feel, you know, that he's not good enough. And so we are consistently minimizing ourselves, hiding our feelings, not saying what we really think and feel, and keeping ourselves small in order to be liked. It's crazy, right? And yet Isn't it true that when you meet somebody that isn't being all of themselves and is hiding all of those things and perhaps is putting on a front or facade, what happens? You smell it and you don't like that person anyway. Am I right? Or am I right? I got some comments. Hello, is it with hello, Facebook user? I don't know who it is. Let me have to put your name next to it if you're not registered with StreamYard. But seriously, how many of you are doing this? I would really love to know. And this came out in an email from one of my own business mentors, the great Susie Ashworth. And she was talking about exactly the same this week. It seems to be a real theme that's coming up. And she was talking about hanging on to her old car because she'd become successful, and £1 million in sales and things. But she didn't want people to not like her. This desire for connection, this desire to be connected and liked is actually stronger than our desire to show up as our authentic selves. And yet that puts us in a box, that puts us in a cage, and it stops us stepping into the people that we are actually born to be. So if you shame your child or you're teaching, now this came up in my first Facebook group, Sharon, if you're watching, for some reason, I don't know why this is, but for some reason, it is Sharon. Hello, babe. I thought it might be you. Sharon, this came up for you yesterday, didn't it? I hope you don't mind me sharing. I won't go into the details, but Sharon shared a beautiful experience that she had, and she was very, very vulnerable about sharing a moment where she'd hurt herself. And what had happened was someone had laughed at her. And this is, again, this comes up all of the time. Our ability to be able to acknowledge our own vulnerability, shame, hurt. Because what happens is very, very easy to put that facade on and shove it down inside and put on the smiles and the teeth and I'm fine. No, it's not okay, because what you are demonstrating and teaching your children by doing that is that you hold your feelings inside. Sharon, for what it's worth, I think you handled it absolutely perfectly. I'm going to do a live in Fierce in a lot more detail about your situation, as I promised that I would. But for here in the tribe, I genuinely think it is up to you to model how you handle your emotions appropriately. It is up to you to show them that it is okay to have feelings. I mean, half the problem that we have in our society, the prisons are full of people that have repressed emotions. And it's coming out of their ears because shame and guilt, it shows up as anger. This is how it shows up. I would love to know if you agree with this, Sharon. I think that's you, Sharon, because I've got lots of Facebook users, so I'm assuming that is you. Those feelings that you have of guilt and shame. And it all comes down to one thing. For me, I consistently look, it's the same thing. It is fear of judgment. And judgment shows up in every single area of our lives. But I'm going to just put it to you today. It's all the people that you are fearing their judgment. And this is where it gets crazy. All the people's judgment that you are fearing. The others, the other people, what will they say? Who's they? Who's the others? These people are on a school run. I know maybe 2 of them. I don't even know who these people are. And I'm telling you now, when I put my program together, when I started doing my songs and when I started filming my stuff, my biggest thing was visibility. I really, really struggled to get on camera. I really, really struggled to go, oh, this is me and this is what I'm doing now. And I don't do that anymore. And I do this. I'm like, oh my goodness, what will people think? They're telling you now, the judges and the haters, they're going to judge everybody. The judges and the haters are going to judge everybody, regardless of what you do. They're going to judge you if you don't look good enough. And then they're going to judge you if you wear your earrings and who the hell do you think you are? So my encouragement for you today is to shine your light. I would love for you today, just to do one thing that you are dying to do is put red lipstick on. It's wear your brand new top. It's put some swanky lipstick on. Why not? Because when you become a mum, particularly if you've been in a career or a job, you lose so much of who you are. You lose so much of it. What is it that you need to do? Who is it that you want to be? That highest vision that you have for yourself, what does she look like? And are you letting her down by minimizing yourself to please others who do not give a rat monkey's But about you, actually, rant over. Okay? Fear of judgment, that inbuilt fear of connection and survival. Because ultimately, when you break it right down, all you're really afraid of is death, because that's what our survival mechanism does. Our survival mechanism keeps us connected to the tribe, because connect to the tribe is survival. That's what. Apparently, my battery's low. Please charge now. That is survival. And when you understand that you're self-sabotage, when you swap the word sabotage for protection, you will understand exactly what is going on, keeping you small, keeping you safe, not helped by your programming as a child about what good girls are. You know, I would love to know, if you're on live with me today, I would really love for you, could you type in, what is your image of a good girl? Because I know that if I have Ruth and Sharon on, I know that you are raising daughters. And this is really, really important. So Ruth and Sharon, if you're still on with me, and if you're watching this back on a replay, please let me know, what is your definition of a good girl? Because those programming that you have, what are the expectations then that you are putting in for your daughter? And this works on the flip side as well. So if you're raising sons, what is it that you are raising your sons to see as attractive, to see as, you know, a good girl? Now, I caught myself doing this last. I had to stop myself. So I'm kind of sucked into Married at First Sight at the moment. I don't know if any of you have watched that, Married at First Sight. And what I love about it is that it's a real wonderful show of people in relationships, how men and women are. I love watching it for that. But I also love watching what comes up for me when I watch it, because any kind of reality TV brings up all kind of judgments. And I love the judgments that come up, because I go, ooh, there's my work. There is my work just there. Because if you are judging others for who does he think she is, if you are judging others for looking amazing, showing up, being awesome, what does that say about you? Because what you judge in others, you will never have for yourself. It's an ongoing lesson. Let me read. Sharon, thank you for putting your name ahead, babe. Sharon, oh yes, I so resonate with this. After leaving my job to be a mummy, I didn't have that measure on success anymore. Isn't it interesting how you define your success? By your ability to earn money, or your success in your career? Really, really interesting. Because actually, let's face it, Sharon, you are doing the most important job on the planet. You are raising a human. You know, someone who's going to contribute, somebody whose gifts, thoughts, feelings, experiences are hopefully at some point going to go on and shape the world themselves, as you shape their mind, as you become the model, not the mirror, as you step into your fullest expression and give her permission to do the same. Am I right? Is it Glennon Doyle? The greatest crime is the greatest burden. I'm quoting this potentially wrong because I don't have all the words. And they're not the right words, but the sentiment is, the greatest burden for a child to carry is the unlived life of the parent. That is in Glennon Doyle book, I'm sure. Let's have a look. I found being at work so easy to gain approval and to be confident. And isn't this interesting, particularly for girls, particularly for women, gaining approval? We're looking for permission. We're looking for, is it okay? Am I allowed to wear my earrings? Is that okay? Does that fit in with what everybody thinks? Do I have permission? My validation, seeking external validation. And when it comes back to that situation that you had the other day, Sharon, it really comes back to just throwing a whole load of love on that hurt child inside of you. Sometimes we have to parent our own child because those needs that weren't met in the beginning when we were young, there is some kind of wound there where you were felt not seen, not important, not loved. And there is your work to shower the huge amounts of self-love and acceptance for your feelings in that moment. So, and to be confident because it's measured in performance. Now, as a mum, it's so hard. Yeah, it is. So for anybody who's watching this, I'm just here to tell you, you are doing the most incredible job. The fact that you're even in my group, the fact that you are watching this, the fact that if you're doing my programs, you already are wanting to be the very best parent that you can be. And I'm telling you, the legacy that you are going to leave through the actions that you are taking right now in this present moment is beyond. Sharon says, oh my goodness, Married at First Sight is my obsession as well. I love it. Love it. I have to sort of stop ranting while it's on. Someone who toes the line. So is this you again, Sharon? A good girl is someone who toes the line. It might be Ruth, don't know. Someone who toes the line isn't too loud or opinionated and doesn't make anyone feel uncomfortable. Now let's dissect that a little bit, shall we? Because I totally agree that we don't want to make people feel uncomfortable. I mean, I genuinely, as a conscious person, there's always a very, very fine line between honesty and kindness and courage and then hurting someone's feelings, you know, and there's a very, very fine line there. So we don't want to make, like, if you watched Married at First Sight, the Nikita, where she is like kicking off, how uncomfortable was she making everybody feeling? It was excruciating. Looking at the dinner table, this woman, if you haven't seen it, was absolutely kicking off, and like, you get on the wrong side of me. She was swearing. She's highly aggressive, highly intimidating. And for anybody who's not used to confrontation or has been brought up in a stable family environment, they're going, oh, it makes people feel uncomfortable. But what I would like to undo a little bit isn't too loud or opinionated. Now, this is one that resonates with me hugely as well. Sharon, is that you? Could you just give me a ping in the comments down below? Because you have to do this. You have to say Sharon every time you speak, because otherwise I won't know it's you, which is annoying because I know you've registered with StreamYard before. I don't know why it doesn't show up. Let's talk about not being too loud or not being too opinionated. Because being loud, oh, it's Ruth. Thanks, babe. Sorry, Sharon. Sorry, Ruth. Not being too loud. So what is it that you're minimizing, Ruth? I would love to know. Like, because, and who is the voice? There's the other thing. Who is the voice in your head that's saying that you are too loud or too opinionated? Too opinionated for who? For them? Is your voice not valid? Does your opinion not matter? And I think this is the work, isn't it? Is understanding that your voice matters. So many women that I work with have confidence issues around holding a boundary or about standing up for themselves and asserting themselves, because asserting yourself is very, very different to aggression and confrontation. You can hold yourself with strength and power and love, and that is twice as effective as going in on the attack. Anyway, I'm going to drop it down today because we've gone for 20 minutes and I always try and keep my trainings short. Otherwise, if I rabble on for an hour, people don't watch it and get involved. But please take up your space today. You have a right to your opinion. You have a right to be as loud as you like, you know, and you have permission to be awesome. Go and shine your light. Examine the stories that come up for you. Do not shy away from the shame. And please, 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 for the love of God, do not shame your children for having feelings. Because those feelings that are unexpressed lead to disease and further relationship and issue problems in their life as they come out their ears, because those feelings don't ever go away. Sending you all my love. As always, please, 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 could you give me your biggest takeaway from today's training? It is good to be back. I'm feeling a lot more like my normal self today. And I will see you all next week. Drop me your biggest takeaway and I will see you all soon. Sending you all the love.